Now, I don't want to give the impression here that I'm trashing GM. I actually feel sorry for GM. They have good people there. They have good engineers, good car designers, great workers, I'm sure, and so forth. The reality is they have no choice but to do this, but to produce this piece of junk. Because Obama, the dictator at GM now, has ordered them to do this. This is what happens when you have a command and control dictator telling you what to do. Obama has absolutely no idea how to make a car. He doesn't know anything about cars except probably how to start one. But that doesn't stop Obama from telling GM how to run its business. This is what bureaucrats do. This is what government people do. They tell you what to do even if they have no idea what they're doing. It's a great illustration of how the command and control economy works. The dictator tells you to do this, and you do it. You have no choice. So we have a car here that costs $41,000. It's got a 40-mile range per charge on its battery. It uses premium gas. That's compared to the $17,000 Chevy Cruze, which is the exact same car, except it's just the old-fashioned gasoline system. Obama, though, is worried that people are not going to buy this Volt. So he sweetened the deal. You now can get up to a $7,500 tax credit if you buy this piece of junk. So that brings the cost of the car down to about $33,000, $34,000, something like that. So that's yet another taxpayer subsidy for the Volt. So add that to the price tag, $7,500 that the taxpayer is paying for to get people to buy this thing. Now that's one way, certainly, that Obama, as the new CEO of General Motors, can put its competition, Ford Motor Company, out of business. Ford, of course, didn't take any of the bailout money, and is now running circles, by the way, around GM and Chrysler, because Ford is making tremendous profits right now, while GM and Chrysler, which took the bailouts, are stuck in the mud. So if you're Obama, CEO of General Motors, why stop there? Why stop at the $7,500 tax credit to get people to buy the Volt? Why not just give away these cars for free? Because that's about what he's going to have to do. That would certainly be one way to put Ford out of business, the main competitor to GM in the United States. So that's, I guess, how Obama will run the car company. He will use government force, essentially, to put Ford out of business, to punish Ford for not taking this bailout. He's going to basically pay you to buy the Volt. Right now, the tax credit is up to $7,500. That's not going to work, so he'll jack it up to $15,000, and he'll jack it up to $20,000, and that's how he'll get people into this stupid Obama Volt. All right, back to the New York Times review of the car. New York Times says, now, if GM were honest, kind of unfair blaming GM for this, why don't we just say if Obama were honest, it would market the car as a personal donation for and vote of confidence in the auto bailout. So that's the New York Times assessment of this Obama Volt disaster. Ouch. And that's from the pro-Obama New York Times. You'd think they'd love the Volt. They're all for green jobs and all that. They're all for this myth of clean energy and green jobs. But this product, this Obama Volt product that GM has just rolled out is too pathetic even for them to prop up. Even they can't defend this. Now, speaking of government incompetence, I just read another report, very disturbing report today, on how up to 6,600 graves in Arlington National Cemetery are misidentified, mislabeled. The graves are wrong. The gravestones for as many as 6,600 of our fallen heroes, people who've given their lives for our country on the battlefield, are wrong in Arlington Cemetery. That's how incompetent government is. Government can't even get that right, can't even get the gravestones right in our national cemetery at Arlington for our fallen heroes. Just a disgrace. But if government can't get that right, how are they going to run a big car company, a big complex car company like GM? How are they going to run an even more complex, massive healthcare system? A nationalized healthcare system, which is going to happen now under Obamacare. They can't get the gravestones right in Arlington Cemetery, but now they want to run a massive nationalized healthcare system. They want to run car companies. They want to run the banking system. Government should really scale back its responsibilities until it can at least get the gravestones labeled correctly in Arlington Cemetery. Get that right. Then if they get that right, maybe they can take on some new responsibilities, but no new responsibilities until they get the graves in Arlington Cemetery right. Okay, so now we have this Obama Vault car, a 40-mile per charge range for its battery for a price tag of $41,000. Now I remember when GM was begging for this bailout money, and I was saying, don't do it, please don't do it. You'll be making a deal with the devil, because once the government gets into your business, it's over at that point. The Obama Volt is not a car that anybody's going to want to buy. It's just an expensive political statement by Obama, funded by the taxpayer, funded by you and me. What General Motors should have done is go through bankruptcy. That's what the bankruptcy laws are for. The bankruptcy laws, going into bankruptcy, is designed to give a company or an individual or a corporation time to reorganize itself, to renegotiate its contracts, for example, with the labor unions and its creditors, and potentially to come out leaner and stronger than ever. A lot of companies have come out of bankruptcy and done very well, and I think that that's what General Motors should have done. Just use the bankruptcy laws, not taken this $50 billion bailout money, this deal with the devil, which is exactly what's happened. They should not have invited the government in to run its company. I mean, that was just a disaster waiting to happen. That inevitably would happen. Now, Obama was in Detroit the other day. He was boasting about this Obama Vault, and he was having his photos taken in the vault, and he was telling us how great it was and why we should buy it and so on. He was also boasting about the 55,000 jobs that he says were created with this $50 billion in bailout money for General Motors. So he's bragging about that. 55,000 jobs created at a cost of $50 billion. When you do the math on that, if you just divide 50 billion by 55,000 jobs, that's almost $1 million per job created by this bailout. Of course, what Obama's not counting is all the jobs that have been lost because he had to take that $50 billion from somewhere to give it to General Motors to create these 55,000 jobs. So this money had to come from the private sector, from other companies, from other individuals. It had to come from somewhere. Had to come from borrowing, so it had to come from your children and grandchildren. So they'll have less economic opportunity as a result of all this money. He doesn't count any of that. What was lost by taking the $50 billion from somewhere else and moving it over to GM to create this 55,000 jobs at a cost of $1 million apiece. So it doesn't sound like a very good deal to me. And the product that we get with this is the Obama Volt. So this is a perfect illustration of what we get with socialism, what we get with a command and control economy. General Motors took the $50 billion bailout. In return, Obama and the labor unions now own the company. Obama is the CEO. He tells GM what to do now, what kinds of cars to make. Even though Obama hasn't a clue of how to make cars, knows absolutely nothing about the car business. This is just part of his green jobs ideology. We're going to have green jobs. We're going to have clean energy. We're going to get off oil and fossil fuels. But how green really is this Obama Volt? Well, apparently Obama is unaware of how electricity is actually produced. Electricity, of course, can be produced a number of ways, but now one way is by building enormous hydroelectric dams that block off rivers and create all kinds of environmental havoc. That's one way. Another way is with massive amounts of coal. That's another way that electric power plants generate electric power. Coal. It's not exactly a clean form of energy. I don't think most environmentalists would classify burning coal as clean energy. The point is that this is not exactly clean energy. And what do you do with all those batteries? You know, those Obama Volt batteries. These batteries are full of all kinds of toxic stuff, nasty stuff, acid and so on. Well, where do we dump these batteries after they've run out of life? That's a problem. Maybe Obama hasn't thought through that either. Not exactly clean, green energy that Obama's been talking to us about.